You know who Bubsy the Bobcat reminds me of? Jason Voorhees. I'm talking about the masked killer from the Friday the 13th franchise that keeps coming back no matter what. Bubsy fractured fairy tales on the Jaguar, ruined 3D platforming on the PlayStation, and even starred in a failed TV pilot. And yet, every time gamers thought they had seen the last of the Bobcat, he returned with an even more annoying personality. Now he's the star of Bubsy Paws on Fire, an uninspired new runner that proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that Accolade has no idea what to do with this character. It also confirms my greatest fear. There's no way to stop Bubsy. He's just gonna keep coming back until we're all dead. This is the follow-up to The Woolies Strike Back, the 2017 action game that attempted to breathe new life into the Bobcat. While that game largely stayed true to the 2D platforming roots, Paws on Fire takes Bubsy in a new direction. This is a side-scrolling runner made by the developers of the Bit Trip series, an unexpected but intriguing combination that probably should have led to a better game. When Bubsy learns that Oinker P. Ham is capturing every animal in the universe for his zoo, he decides to stop him by running left to right and jumping on platforms. This leads to an unexpected alliance with the Woolies, the alien species who's been fighting against Bubsy since 1993. Also along for the ride is Virtual Reality, a genius inventor from the TV show and comics. Together, they race through 100 bite-sized stages and take on 3 tough bosses in order to free the galaxy's animals. Now, there are 4 playable characters in Paws on Fire, each with their own stages and unique abilities. Bubsy can pounce forward and float in the air, similar to his moves in The Woolies Strike Back. Virgil can double jump and slide under obstacles. Wooly sits in a saucer and flies around the screen shooting down enemies. All 3 of these characters will try to pick up 150 collectibles in each stage and track down 3 pieces of the coin. If you can complete the stages with all the characters and are able to piece together the 3 coins, then you'll be able to control Arnold and play a bonus stage ripped straight out of Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Like a lot of games in the genre, Paws on Fire wants you to use the character's different moves to bounce off the enemies and combo your way through the stages while picking up the yarn balls. There's usually a fairly obvious path that you're supposed to take, and most of the time it comes down to little more than jumping at the right time. You'll quickly find out that Bubsy can air pounce on the enemies to gain an extra jump and another pounce, which is often the only way to grab the hard-to-reach coin pieces. There's some technique to the gameplay, even if it has been stripped down to the bare essentials. Probably the most unique new addition is Wooly, a character that essentially turns this Bubsy game into a 2D shoot-'em-up. You're still picking up collectibles and tracking down those coins, but now there are floating enemies and obstacles that rotate around. It allows the developers to get rid of a lot of the platforming trappings and try something different. The problem is that these Wooly stages are just too easy. If you've played even one old school shooter in your life, then you're gonna bust through these stages without losing even a single life. And that's a problem across the board. Bubsy Paws on Fire is far too easy. While the platforming stages are a little trickier to navigate, they don't put up much of a fight. The checkpoints are generous, and the obstacles are never very challenging. Even compared to the other games in the series, this is one of the easiest Bubsy games you're ever gonna play. It's also short, with only 3 different locations to race through. Not that I'm wanting more stages, since there's very little variation to the platforming challenges and obstacles. As runners go, Paws on Fire is fine. This is a developer with experience in the genre, and it shows. The controls are generally pretty tight, and the times I died were almost always my fault. I also like that the level designs aren't cheap, and the boss fights, they seem fair. In a lot of ways, this feels like a runner made for a much younger audience. I don't know, maybe even kids with little to no experience with the genre. But as a gamer with a lot of platforming experience, I have to say that I came away disappointed. It's not just the easy difficulty, but also the fact that everything about this game feels uninspired. Aside from the annoying wisecracks, there's nothing about this game that is unique to Bubsy. In fact, you could replace every single one of the characters and it wouldn't change a thing. This is just a generic runner that just so happens to have Bubsy plastered all over it. And look, if we're at the point where Accolade is just plugging the Bobcat into different genres to see what sticks, then maybe it's time for them to give Bubsy a break and focus on one of their other franchises, like Balls. I think the world is finally ready for a sequel to Balls. Bubsy Paws on Fire is one of those games that is bound to disappoint pretty much everybody. Fans of the Bobcat will be annoyed that the traditional platforming structure has been abandoned, and fans of runners will find this new version too easy and repetitive. The good news is that the game controls well, and there are 4 different characters to choose from. Unfortunately, that's not enough to overcome the generic action, predictable obstacles, and simplistic bosses. Paws on Fire may not be as bad as Bubsy 3D, but it's a lot more forgettable. Hey, thanks for watching our review. If you liked what you saw here, then you should know that we post new reviews and features almost every day. Now here's the question I have for you. Can Bubsy be saved? Yeah, that's a serious question. Is there something Accolade could do to save this franchise? And should they even try? Let me hear your thoughts in the comments below. In other news, I'm currently hard at work on a Plague Tale, Hellmut, and something called How to Be a Real Dude. Wait, that can't be real. Huh, it is. Okay, well, you're just gonna have to see what that is next week. In the meantime, I strongly recommend you click that subscribe button and support what we're doing here. Until then.